Good evening, everybody. Your governor here at it again. I know it's kind of late, but it has been an extremely productive, beautiful day, and I'm very satisfied. And I didn't want to let this day go before I could say some things that I wanted to share with you, whoever is out there listening and watching. Today I want to talk about a couple of things. Short video. I'm tired. I need to take a shower. But a couple of things. One of them is what it means to be a good American. That's a very important thing that we have to discuss right now. And the other thing is what happened when we kill masculinity. So thing number one. What means to be a good American? And I guess being a good American is like being a good anything else. Let's say that you are, or you want to be a good athlete. In order to be a good athlete, that means that you need to win at whatever sports you choose to practice. And in order for you to win, that means that you have to put the interest of your own team ahead of the interest of your rival team. Therefore, you're gonna do the best you can to make your team win and you winning at the same time. If it is, let's say you don't need a team, it's only you, then you have to put your own interest ahead of your rival's interest because he wants to win or she. Therefore, you need to be able to put your own interests in front of your opponent's best interest. And then you're going to win. At least there is a chance that you're going to win. If you want to be a good son, what does it mean to be a good son? In my own case. Or a good daughter. In the event that there is some saint sister watching. Well, that means that you have to put the interest of your own mother ahead of the interest of others' mothers. And you're gonna do everything in your power to make sure your mother is satisfied with you and your performance as a son or a daughter. And that is basic. That's very basic right there. Now let's talk about being a good American. What does that mean? Well, it's simple. Once again, you have to make sure you're putting the interests of your own country ahead of the best interests of other countries. This doesn't mean that you are going to destroy other countries, that you're gonna attack other countries, that you're gonna take some kind of hostile action against other countries. No. This only means that in a playing field, you're gonna do the best you can to put the best interests of your country ahead of others' countries. Because you want to be a good American. You don't want to be a good Russian. At least you want to be a good Russian because you're Russian. Or you love Russia and you think that they are a better country than yours. Then you choose restrain. Then you should leave the USA and go to Russia. You see? Restrain. Or you want to be a good Mexican because you think Mexico is a better country than the USA. But then, once again, you should leave the USA and go to Mexico, to the best place. You see, I was born in another country. Most definitely you guessed it already. So, I thought the USA was a better country than the place that I was born. Therefore, your governor here talking to you in the USA. And I decided that I wanted to be a good American. Not a good Chinese, not a good Russian, not a good, I don't know, whatever country I came from. Which we can discuss if you're curious. There is no secrets about it. By the way, it's a communist country. So, that's what it means to be a good anything. It's putting your interests or the interests of your country or the interests of your family or the interests of whatever action you are engaging in ahead of your opponents. Or let's say that you have no opponents, you have counterparts. There is no opposition in counterparts, but they have the moral, as you have it too. They have the moral duty, and you have it too. As an American, you have the moral duty, right? To put your best interest, your family's best interest, your country's best interest ahead of someone else's. Country's best interest, mother's best interest, whatever thing it is. You see? And that what makes you good at doing something. Not at doing something. That's what makes you a good something. You're being able to prioritize. If I have a son and you have a son, or I have a daughter and you have a daughter, or I have a daughter, you have a son, whatever the situation is, I have the moral duty to protect that person, to put the best interest of that person ahead of yours. And guess what? I expect you to do the same. And I won't be mad at you. I definitely won't be mad at you. If you, let's say you are my brother, and you call me one day and you tell me, hey, you know what? I'm going to the beach. And I know your son loves the beach. So I'm going to take my son and your son, or whatever the situation is, I'm going to take them both to the beach. And we're going to have a good time, and everything is going to be beautiful, and the sun, and this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm working. I'm busy. So, yeah, bring it on. You're my brother, right? You're going to take my son. You're going to take your son or your daughter. You're going to take them to the beach. They're going to be having a very beautiful, good time. And in the middle of the good time, something is going to happen. Of course, this is a hypothetical situation. And you automatically notice that my son and your daughter, or my son and your son, are drowning. Of course, your first reaction is, I'm gonna say, but I have to. But you're just a human. You're gonna do, I know, you're gonna do the best you can to save those two human beings. But I know too, because I'm a human too, that we have limited human capabilities. So when you get there and you notice that you only have fuel, to say it in some way, to bring back one guy, who would you bring back? Would you bring back my son? Would you dedicate that energy that you have to bring back my son? Or to bring back your daughter or son? Would you put my best interest, and we're brothers, we're blood, would you put my best interest ahead of yours? Would you put my genetic continuation ahead of yours? Or would you make a rational decision and you will save your own genetic line, the continuation of your line of genes, which is what everything, I mean, what it all comes down to. What would you do? I know already what would you do. And I expect you to do that, even though I'm gonna lose my son or my daughter. That's the way things are. I expect you to do that. I expect my opponents, I expect my counterparts to put their best interests ahead of my own. And I do the same. This doesn't mean that it cannot be cooperation based on mutual beneficial. That is what free market is. Free market is a win-win situation in which there is no losing parties. Everybody wins. I got a pen, you got $1. I want your dollar more than what I want my pen. You want my pen more than when you want your dollar. You give me your dollar, I give you your pen. We both part ways happy. Capitalism. It's beautiful. Don't blame me for all this bullshit going around. Right? So, it can be cooperation, it can be all kinds of great things happening, but you have to put your own interests ahead. And then when your things are good, then you can start sharing. If I ask you for $1 million, for a reason, you're not gonna give it to me. Number one, you don't have it. Now, number two could be that you don't wanna give it to me. I'm cool with that. I haven't provided $1 million worth of value to you, so I have no right to ask you for $1 million. But number one reason most definitely is I'm not gonna give it to you because I don't have it. And then we can keep going, you see? So that's how it works. Small reflection that I want to share with you. Being a good American means putting the best interests of America ahead of the best interests of Mexico, or Russia, or China, or any of the other 192 countries that exist in the face of the earth. I hope this is clear. I don't think it can get more clear than this. Put the best interests of your own country ahead of any other country. When you see someone who is trying to put someone who is elected in Congress, let alone a president, just in case you have noticed something in the past administrations, that is putting the best interest of other countries ahead of us, ahead of the well-being of this country, ahead of the well-being of the population of this country, when you see any of that, that should be an immediate red flag against that person, and that should tell you right away the kind of person that you're willing with. And you should elect more wisely. We do not have, until we don't have our problems solved, we cannot be putting the best interests of other countries ahead of our own country. Simple as that. Hope this is clear. Subject number 2, masculinity. And this one is gonna be short, I promise you. Subject number 2, masculinity. I see a lot of attack against masculinity. Men are bad, men are pigs, men are abusers, men are this and men are that. If for a second we could kill all masculinity in Western societies, I can promise you something, that other people out there which will be extremely happy. Because you will not kill masculinity, just saying. For example, in the Middle East, they're very famous, very, very masculine, right? They treat their woman in interesting ways. They treat other men in interesting ways. They treat gay men in very interesting ways. So, if you kill masculinity in the West, there are wolves that are circling, foam coming out of their mouth, big teeth, ready to claw you to death and conquer. Because that is what men do. Now we have come up with this beautiful Western society in which there is not a lot of need for violence. There is not a lot of conquering going around. There is not a lot of disrespect going around towards certain groups of people, like gays and women, etc. If you're gay, man, believe me, any Western country is a place to be for you. Any. If you go to any non-Western, you're gonna have a very hard time, by the way. If you're a woman, the West, any Western country is the place to be for you. If you go to non-Western places, you're gonna have, most definitely, because of what the evidence and the reason suggest, you're gonna have a definitely very hard time. Same thing if you're black or belong to any other minority. The West is the place to be for any of you. Now over here you can complain and you can say and you can do, and all is fine and dandy until you destroy the same very thing that is giving you that opportunity to say, to do, and to do all the things that some, I would qualify them as insane people are doing, which will bring down the whole thing, and then the wolves are gonna come in and they will conquer throughout history. And this is why, if you read the description of this channel is for men, created by a man, and it's a free market of ideas. We can discuss things here. I want you to, as a man, I want you to understand something, and I'm gonna stop right here because I want to look in your eye and tell you straight what you need to hear. And it's a pretty simple thing. Throughout history, what has happened is that the conqueror comes, they take the woman, they kill your kids, they kill you, and they keep everything. They don't kill the woman, and this is the point. You see? So women have this, let's say, I'm not saying that they're having a very good time when you go down, because their kids are being killed too, but they don't die, and they get fucked, and they get to, at least if they are beautiful, they get to mate with the champion, and they get to keep a somewhat nice lifestyle. And I mean, it's not as hard, let's say, let's be euphemistic, it's not as hard for them as it is for you as a man. You're going down, dude. You're dying. You see? They don't. So they don't fear that much that there would be people coming and taking and killing and destroying, because they will survive that. You as a man won. And that is my message for today. As usual, thank you very much for your engagement. Have a beautiful evening, a beautiful night. I would really appreciate if you can comment, subscribe, and like. And help me, please help me spread the word. I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for nothing. Just help me spread the word. I want to be your governor at one point, and I need your help for that. Thank you very much. Have a beautiful one. Bye-bye.